For Heavy.com, I'm Maggie Krol standing alongside Michael Bisping, who will be fighting Brian Stann at UFC 152 in Toronto, Canada this Saturday. Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Talk about, you're the guy who always has a ton to say, and lately you've been very vocal, especially about little Joseph Benavidez. Did you meet him at all? Have you guys crossed paths while you were here in Toronto?
I saw him yesterday, and he's got a very forgettable face, so he had to introduce himself again. I weren't sure. I mean, guys that don't reach my waistline don't really resonate with me too much. You know, I kind of think of them as children. And he said, "Hey, what's up, Mike?" I'm like, "Whoa, who is this guy?" And he said, "It's me, Joseph." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that right, yeah." I think he's fighting for a title against a mouse. Yeah, no, I said something. He was talking about my punching power and maybe a little disrespectful. So, you know, he had to be put in his place a little bit. But Twitter's a wonderful thing. It's just fun and games.
So the beef is squashed. You
You
guys are friends now.
There is no beef. There is no beef.
Okay, let's talk about your training camp. You added some new one training partner into this camp?
A new boxing coach. His name is Jason Perillo. He's trained Vitor Belfort, BJ Penn. He trained Tito for his last two fights, and in his last two fights, Tito was dropping people. But yeah, he's been great. He's really added to my boxing game. I had pretty good boxing before. I had very good boxing before, but I do feel that he's added to it. I think I'm generating more punching power, better head movement, and just reading the fights more. You know, he's really helped me mentally.
So it's not new news that Brian Stann has very significant punching power. I think 9 out of his last 12 fights were all by knockout. So you feel confident going into this fight now with your new coach that your boxing is up to speed?
I felt confident going into this fight before, after. I'll feel confident during, before, after, and during the fight. Listen, Brian hits hard. We all hit hard at 185 pounds. He's going to come out there. He's going to headhunt. He's probably going to open with a leg kick. A leg kick. You heard it here first. That's what he does all the time. He's predictable. Leg kick. I'll block that. He'll throw a punch. I'll move out of the way. Bing, bing, bing. I'll hit him a few times. He'll wilt under the pressure, and then I'll win the fight. You know, yeah, he does. He has knocked out a few people. I've only been stopped once in my career. He's been stopped once in his career. I was stopped by Dan Henderson in a fight I was winning until I got caught with that shot. He got stopped by a guy called Steve Cantwell. Yeah, I don't know him either. You know, the great Steve Cantwell. I'm not talking trash about Steve Cantwell. He might be a fantastic guy. But, you know, when you put the two side by side, I think I can hold my head up a little higher.
Do you think it's crazy that the fight is in Canada, considering that, well, you're training in the U.S. now, yes, right? But don't you think it maybe should have been in the UK or here?
No, not really. You know, I mean, I've been an international fighter my whole career, so I'm not really concerned where the fight takes place. I'm really happy to be up here in Canada. I haven't fought here since 2008, and the fans have always been fantastic up here. Great UFC following, and they've always been very kind to me, so I'm happy to fight here. I'm fighting the American hero. I'm English. On the Countdown show, they've built up the whole, you know, the reenactment of the War of Independence, whatever. You know, so you could say Canada's neutral territory.
But
it's part of the Commonwealth, so I'm expecting Canada to cheer. We have the Queen on our money, so come on, if you're going to cheer for someone, I expect you to cheer for me because I'm doing it for Canada.
Speaking of cheering, you're very vocal about this fight getting you propelled to that title shot. What do you think Chris Weidman and maybe Tim Bosch could possibly be in the way if one of those wins that fight? Do you think Dana might match you up with one of those guys?
Yeah, but it all depends. If Anderson Silva faces GSP, you know, then nobody from the middleweight division is fighting Anderson anytime soon, and I don't want to wait on the sidelines. I'm sure it would make sense to match me up with the winner of Boech and Weidman. You know, that's going to be a close fight. I see Weidman probably pulling it off, although Boech is he's no pushover, so you never know. But if I've got to beat up Chris Weidman after I'm done with Brian Stann, so be it. You know, as I said, I've got no problem knocking down a few people along the way. You know, I'll take a few more fights, earn a few more dollars en route to becoming world champion.
Do you want to see Anderson Silva versus George St. Pierre, or would you rather not, obviously, because you want the chance?
Well, as a fan, of course, I want to see Anderson versus GSP. It's a very interesting fight. They're both dominant champs. But for my own personal you know, needs and wants, I'd rather it didn't happen. So, yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
So are you going to call anyone in the cage after you win on Saturday?
Well, I'm gonna, you know, I'm going to call out Anderson Silva. I'm going to call out anyone. You know me. Well, you don't. We just met. But, you know, anyone and everyone. Who knows?
So you're ready to win on Saturday?
Absolutely. I've had a great camp. I want to take this opportunity to thank MMA Elite, Muscle Farm, Gourmet Footwear, Monster Products, my whole team, all my coaches. Thank you, everybody, and everyone for tuning in to watch the fight. It's going to be a great event.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.